Welcome to the section Publishing and Subscribing Messaging using JMS. The first video is Fundamentals of JMS. The Java Message Service is an API that controls the message-oriented middleware. It is an implementation to handle the producer-consumer problem. JMS is a part of the Java platform. It enables a loosely coupled asynchronous communication between the components of a distributed application. The JMS domains differs between two approaches. On the one side, there is the point-to-point messaging that allows clients to send messages to other clients via an intermediate abstraction called queues. The client that sends the message sends it to a queue. The client that receives the message extracts it from the queue. On the other side, there is the publish and subscribe messaging that allows sending messages to multiple clients via an intermediate abstraction called topic. The client that sends the message publishes it to the specific topic. The message is delivered to all clients that are subscribed to the topic. Here you can see an overview of the JMS workflow. At the very beginning, you must create a connection with the help of Connection Factory. Then the connection creates the session, and that creates the message producer and consumer, or the message publisher and subscriber. The producer sends messages to a queue, and the consumer receives the message from the queue, or the publisher sends messages to a topic that is subscribed by the clients called subscribers. To enable communications, you have to set up a JMS broker. This is a short list of open source JMS broker. In this section, we will deal with the ActiveMQ broker provided by Apache. The Spring JMS Starter is a starter that simplifies the handling of the JMS API. The class JMS Template handles creation and release of resources when sending or receiving messages. Let's create a simple messaging that deals with queues. For that purpose, we set up an ActiveMQ broker. The default configuration of the JMS server hints at localhost 8161. Our POM file lists the starter ActiveMQ that enables JMS messaging over the AMQP protocol. We separate our project in a main part. Herein we put the main applications for sender and receiver, the message consumer and the message producer class. And we define in a config package a common JMS configuration for both sender and receiver. Then we define sender and receiver package. And now let's take a look at our message config class. So it gets the annotation configuration and it returns an adjusted bean of a connection factory. This connection factory returns an ActiveMQ connection factory with the broker URL hinting to a TCP interface. And we return an adjusted JMS template. Here's our JMS template. It deals with our own connection factory. And last but not least, we create a bean that returns a simple message converter. Here is our message converter bean. And now let's take a look at our sender part. The constructor initializes the private JMS template and has the method sendMessage, wherein the JMS template sends a message over the session. And now let's switch to the receiver part. The receiver part auto-wires the JMS template and the message converter, and in the method receiveMessage, it extracts the message from the JMS template and returns it as a string. So in this project, we have two main applications. Let's switch to the message producer. The message producer handles the producer part. It fetches the message service bean from the context and sends a message to the queue. And the message consumer class handles the receiver part. Now let's switch to the message consumer class. And the message consumer class gets the bean of message receiver over the context, and it receives the message and outputs it on the console. And now let's start the producer application. And here on the console you can see that the message has been sent. Message has been sent successfully. And when we now switch to our AMQP broker, we can see here under the queue link our message queue with our message enqueued. Here we click on the link queues, and you can see here our message queue with our message enqueued. Let's take a look at the message. You can see here our message. And now let's start our consumer application. And here on the console you can see that the message has been received. And when we now switch to our ActiveMQ broker, you see here that our message queue, that there are no more pending messages and that the messages have been dequeued.